back at it. I think this is part 11. Looks like there was some things that was moved around. So yeah, I got a bunch of open time. I'm chilling. You know, I just me when I have some downtime or whatnot. Sometimes I decide to want to do things a little more constructive. I said, let me go ahead and get my digital journal. But yeah, some people they want to talk about different things and sports, games, and things of that nature, and that's fine. But I said, let me just go and do my digital journal, duck off, and my little duck off. So, you know, so yeah, it was didn't get a lot of rest. Didn't get a lot of rest the other night, so that's okay. It's the weekend. It's fine. Might try to walk around the farm today. We got a farm by the house. Anyway, something that was really alarming to me. I covered a little bit home ownership and real estate. Not real estate really, but like just talking about homes. And in terms of when you look at the home ownership wealth gap in the state of Minnesota, between blacks and whites and stuff like that, that's a very telling commentary. And ownership and wealth goes hand in hand, right? People that own property, there's a dark side of that too, you know. So I was looking at different things and different options and stuff, and I was looking at like, looking for a realtor, right? So something very interesting happened to me, and I'm going to put it out there on one of these next story times, or it won't. I don't know if it'll actually be a story time. It could be a story time, but it won't be the adventure story time, because that stuff would be something that happened years ago or whatnot. So there's this guy that had emailed me and said, well, him and his wife, you really gotta, when you're picking realtors, when you're talking to people, you gotta interview them like a job. Remember, it's your property that you want to sell. They need you just as much as you need them. Some people don't even get realtors. Some stuff they'll just try to sell it themselves or have their own license or whatnot. But that's not something that I'm looking at. So what ends up happening is the what happens is I ended up getting a guy that reached out to me that said him and his wife they basically work together. And when I looked at some of the numbers that they were presenting, and they said they're realtors, whatever, but when you look at the numbers of what an agent's supposed to get, they're usually supposed to get around 6%, 7%, about 6%. So if you have a house that's 200, 300, whatever, they're going to make 10, 15, 20, they're going to make at least 10 to 14,000 or whatever the case may be, between the agents. I think so. There's the buyer's agent, and then there's the seller's agent. So your realtor would be, if you're selling the house, that would likely be the seller's commission, what they get for selling the house. So this dude, my spidey sense, I don't know why, but it gets picked up. But he called me, left a voicemail, then sent a video. I might put that video. I might put the video up so you can see how you look out for people like this, because I had one person that I was supposed to meet and talk to him. He was a top seller in the area. So we had set up a meeting, and I checked his paperwork. His paperwork is stellar, right? So when this guy called me, he called later at night, which I thought was weird. I gotta restart this over. Hold on, let me see what happened. Yeah, it doesn't. When you pause on this Apple, it does some weird stuff. When you pause it, sets it as another video. So I'll just link the videos up. So this is what happens, right? I talked to one realtor, like I said, he had stellar, his paperwork came back straight. So I set an appointment with him. This week, I received that email from that couple. And they're like, well, we only require a 1%, seller rate or something like that. And I said, okay, that's real cheap. Cheap don't necessarily mean good, y'all. Cheap don't mean valuable. Anytime where you see somebody that's supposed to be getting 6 to 7%, and then they're saying, well, I could get 1%, and I only charge you 1%, or something like that, it's like, why would you charge that? What's the point of, and maybe they could do things that other realtors can't do because there might be little loopholes or whatever the case may be. But here's another thing I thought that was suspicious. They had the title company's email name, and then they had like a market analysis for what the value of the house was. So I think I'm gonna share that with y'all. There's going to be certain things I might edit out or whatever the case may be, but to me, it just didn't look right. So I reached back out to the realtor that I was supposed to talk to, right? And I asked them, I said, how would they know the value of the house? They haven't talked to me. And you could kind of look at it like, I'm able to go in and look and be like, okay, well, about how much would this be? And the guy told me, I emailed him, I showed him what they sent me, and I said, this seems kind of suspicious. Is this suspicious to you? No, this is the guy that I'm talking to where his paperwork checked out. He done sold a bunch of houses. He understands the market. He focuses on the market around my area. So he understands what the do's and some don'ts and stuff. And I don't know him very well, but I sent it to him because I feel like I should be able to bounce an idea off of a person. If I'm interviewing realtors and I'm talking to different people, let me bounce this off him because I'm still learning. And I say, okay, let me see what he says. And I felt like he was going to respond, which he did. And he said, people don't usually do that. That's kind of unprofessional. And it's like you're kind of rushing somebody into saying, well, I could only take 1%. This is how much your value your house is. You haven't even interviewed or talked to me. You haven't looked at the house. You ain't came out to shake my hand. You ain't did nothing. That's what I kind of suspected off the rip. I said, let me bounce it off somebody where their paperwork checks out. Let me bounce this off somebody that sold millions of dollars worth of houses. See what they think. And I'm glad I did that because I got my answer. I think I'm going to send y'all the screenshot of who did that. I'm not casting no aspersions against them. I'm talking about what they did. That was unprofessional. I want young black men and women that think about buying a house or they selling a house and they going through this process, because a lot of times, unless you got some realtors, that's brothers and sisters, or somebody that's an ally to you that's going to keep it 100 with you and be solid and just, you just may not know. You see what I'm saying? So I just thought that was very, very interesting. Another thing I thought that was interesting too, I've been getting strange little text and emails about, you could just kind of tell. There's telltale signs. And something told me when I received that. I got a video from this dude. And something told me that it wasn't right. It wasn't right. And I'm going to talk to him about that again when I meet the guy. When I sit down with him, I'm going to say, hey, man, that didn't seem right. That didn't seem right. I was thinking about that this morning. I said, man, I ain't had a lot of rest. I said, but I'm still thinking about that. So that's why I sent that email. I sent that email because that's something. Because at first I was like, well, maybe I'll call this dude, but let me hold up. You want to kind of you want to get a feel for several different people. I looked at the other guy's reviews. His paperwork was stellar. Reviews is great. He done sold a lot of houses. I got a pretty good vibe as far as the communication. The paperwork's important. Now, you still might not like the person for whatever reason it may be. I'm going to follow logic. You dig? I'm going to follow logic. I'm going to look at, you know, because I want to say this, man. The first house I got, it was we had an Asian realtor that was through people we knew, and it didn't matter to us or whatever like that. But the vibe that I got was like, oh, I'm doing you a favor, and that's your BIPAC POC. There you go. That's that coalition again. In my mind, I'm thinking, oh, well, this is one of us. No, can't think like that no more. You can't think like that, because they started showing us janky looking houses. I'm just gonna keep it on 100. And I asked her one time. I said, "Would you put your would your husband put you in something like this? Why would you show me something like this?" And it kind of insults you. Yeah, I'm on a first time home buyers program, but you're kind of insulted. You see what I'm saying? So, man, look, get the best person. Get the best damn person. Check their paperwork and get the best person that has a history of being a giant in that game, to make sure your house, you know, uh, if you could get a brother or sister that could do it and they good, good. But check their paperwork, man. Don't say, well, I'm just gonna go and get a brother or sister that don't know what the hell they doing and they paperwork janky just because you want to shop black. You don't do that with no house. This is one of the most biggest important decisions you're gonna make in your life. You get the best person for the fucking job. Pardon my French. You get the best person for the damn job. You know, the first time when I started looking at houses and stuff, I was dealing with some janky ass Negro, man. It was just, he was telling us all these excuses. I said, man, he acting like the race soldiers. You guys can't get this and you can't get that, and your credit ain't this and your credit ain't that. I go to the Asian lady and it checks out fine. You see what I'm saying? I'm saying the process. The process and us being able to do it. He's talking about we can't do it. You can't do it with this credit. You can't do this. You can't do that. Taking 3-4 weeks to get back to me and stuff like that. So I said, well, I'll just go with somebody else. And I start looking maybe 6 months later, whatever. But, you know, come to find out that wasn't the case. And so I said, okay, this title dude, he ain't right. You know, and he was referred from another brother, which was a good brother, but he probably just didn't know how that dude got down or whatever the case may be. I don't know. So, but at first I was looking, I'm trying to shop black. It was a little janky as hell. But I said, okay, well, let me just find another person, because when you sign up with one realtor, you can't be jumping around and all that stuff. So I said, well, you know, run the numbers. The brother couldn't get the numbers right. It was just real weird. I started feeling weird about him having my social after a while. And I said, well, all right, I'm going to give him the benefit of doubt. And it just got jankier and jankier. First it was, you know, it started getting tacky. Then it started getting trashy. It didn't make it to the third level, but it was pretty janky. It was tacky. Then it got trashy. And I said, okay. So then eventually we found a realtor. It's an Asian lady. She put on the brother, you my sister, brother stuff for a little while. And then once we start kind of going through looking at houses and stuff like that, the attitude started shifting, especially when the deal was getting ready to close. And then when we closed on the title loan, I'm going to be honest with this too. I'm just going to keep it 100. I'm not lying about nothing. When the deal was about to get sealed, when we went to like the title place of the lady that signed the deal, like, okay, this house is, it's a deal. Here's the title. Even the title lady, they brought me to one of their people. This Asian lady, a title loan person or the title person, and she acted like she didn't even want to do business with us. I'm thinking like, well, damn. You done made a lot of money off of this. What the hell's your problem? as if the money wasn't green. I'm gonna be honest, man. I'm not about to cut no ties with this, man. The attitude and the way, and just the attitude. I've never seen nobody with that exchange the kind of money in a business setting with that kind of attitude. He's looking crazy, and I said, all right. Next time I'm gonna find a brother, or just find me an American white man. just find me a cut close American. Just find me an American Caucasian white man to do this damn business. And I said, okay, my next realtor gonna be a dude. We not about to deal with this catty BS. No, sir. Not dealing with it. But but you gotta watch everybody, man. You gotta use that spidey sense. You gotta use that. You have to look at all different options. You have to ask questions. I have a list of questions that I'm gonna ask. Some of the questions they were asking, are you full time? How long have you been doing this? What is your communication method? What kind of a market analysis are you using? What kind of online platforms you could be using? There's a lot of questions that I already have. I'm still going to ask, but I've already covered because I already checked the paperwork. The paperwork looks stellar. Number one in this, number two in that. Okay, does this person, are we working as like humans, or is this just, I know it's about the money. It's all about selling. But does this person have a humanistic approach? And I'm really, really glad I sent that information to the guy. I'm very, very glad. So like somebody, they about to get some mail. So I think that's one of those kind of things where, excuse me. I think that's kind of one of them things where you got to kind of look into that. That's important. Because, and another thing we're going to have to do, I may not probably ain't going to outright mention it to him, but, and see, that's another thing is, you sent me this market analysis sheet, and you didn't even come by the house to even look like how it would look staged. I wasn't able to ask any questions. You just sent me what the house was worth or whatever like that. That's hella unprofessional. You're supposed to ask what I want from you, because I could go to any damn realtor. That's what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be, because the thing is I got the property. You ain't got shit. You just got numbers. I don't have to go to you, but you reaching out, you sending me paperwork as if we got a deal. So, that's why I said, wait a minute, this don't sound right, man. And I still don't know a lot about this stuff, but I know enough where something ain't right. You see what I'm saying? I'm following the yellow brick road. I'm not looking for no brown bricks, none of that. I'm trying to get, I'm not trying to walk in the dirt. I'm following the yellow brick road. And the logic is telling me that, you're like a snakeskin oilman. What they call a snakeskin oil salesman. You're a snakeskin oil salesman. That's what it kind of reminds me of. So you gotta watch those people. Well, maybe me and my wife or something like, what y'all got going on? I'm gonna put that video up. I'm trying to think if it's a YouTube, or I'm gonna put that damn video up. I'm gonna put that video up in that analysis. Matter of fact, I'm about to edit that right now. I'm about to upload that, because y'all got to see this. It ain't right. It ain't right. And you send it to me publicly. So I'm not saying anything more than what you did. It's unprofessional. So I'm going to let my audience know this is an unprofessional setting and an unprofessional person on how they dealing with this. And you don't want to deal with nobody like this. You sent this to me. I didn't ask. I didn't ask for that analysis, that market analysis. We haven't even discussed numbers. You ain't even come see the house. So that sounds like one of them little places that they want to give you $2 for the house. I don't know. It's yeah. You get blasted and putting you out there. You unprofessional. So I want brothers and sisters to see this, to see, hey, don't deal with folks like this. Get somebody to check their paperwork. And when you're on realtor.com, check their paperwork. They make sure they license up to date and all that kind of stuff. Be able to ask questions. Is this person open? Are they too thirsty? Because that was thirsty. That was real thirsty. That reminded me when I bought my car on Lake Street. Oh, we believe in the Lord and we believe in helping broken people. And I'm like, I was too young and stupid to really know. Like, first of all, you don't buy no car on Lake Street. Unless it's like an old school or something. You know what I'm saying? They marked that up. But I done seen a couple old schools on Lake. You don't buy no car on Lake Street. That was the number one rule I broke. And I'm from South Minneapolis. You should know that. You should know better. You don't buy no car on Lake Street, ever. You never buy a car on Lake Street. Unless the dealer is somebody you personally know and it's a family member that's solid, it's gonna, and even that. But you don't buy no car on Lake Street. You hit the suburbs, you buy from an old man that's 50 and better. Especially when it comes to like a time machine, you don't buy on Lake Street. I made that mistake once, and then I went to Tri-City Auto and made it twice to get a Tahoe years later. Stupid decisions. You don't do that. Yeah, you don't buy on Lake Street and you don't rock with Columbia Heights. You don't do that. You don't do that. Tell any black person coming to Minneapolis and living here, you don't buy no car from Columbia Heights or Lake Street. No. Yeah, Columbia Heights, hey, you might as well be on Penn and Broadway. Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, I'm going to go into a dealership on Penn and Broadway. What? Man, please. You don't do that. No, hell no. No, you take a trip. You take a trip where ain't no bus line. You see what I'm saying? Like, what are you doing? But, you know, like, even my friends were there like, well, but what? You going on Lake Street, bro? They ain't even say nothing else. They just looked at me and just, I don't even think they shook their head. They just looked at me and just turned away. Like, you, DP, you know better. You know better. They ain't even say that to me. They just looked at me and said, oh, man. Yeah, you don't buy no car on Lake Street. So that's what that dude tried to do. He tried to Lake Street me again. No. I'm going to chop this up. I'm going to get this video, man, and I'm going to figure out how to get this up, y'all.
Get some information to put together a market analysis for you. My wife and I are premier agents on realtor.com. We offer a 1.5% selling fee, and then to list your home. We probably do 35 to 40 homes a year with realtor.com, and those are primarily all sellers.